Hello, NorCal District family. My name is Chris. I'm the lead pastor here at New Life Church in Cupertino. I'm excited to share with you what God has been doing in our church this last year, and also kind of share some of the things that we're learning from and we're trying to grow from as well. Our church is kind of structured around a mission of helping people take a next step to follow Jesus. And we think that anybody can do that, and we think that Jesus can kind of call anybody to do that, to follow him and take a step, another step along the way in the journey of following him. And we also hope that that kind of plays itself out through us kind of creating churches for more than just church people, that we hope that this place where we meet on Sundays is welcoming and inviting. But we also hope that as we go out into the community that we are a welcoming people, that people can feel comfortable around us and that they aren't pushed away by Christians, but that they're kind of drawn to us because of Jesus. So we hope that plays itself out in our vision. Our goals for this year, our board set these goals kind of to help us to become more healthy in a sense. We've been in a stage where we've been dependent on rental income, and we haven't actually been kind of paying our bills per se with our tithes. A lot of it's been coming from other sources, and so we're really trying to become more healthy financially. We're also trying to provide again more community outreach opportunities, times to get into the community and not just to be on our campus, and also just to hopefully that'll create an opportunity and an environment where the church can grow. We can't force it, we can't make it happen, but it's an opportunity that maybe it could, if we set the right circumstances, that God would use us in that way. Our church is kind of organized around 5 different categories or groups of parts of our church. And the first one is facility, and we really believe that facility is an important part. And so these are kind of some of the things that we did this last year to help improve our facility, but also kind of to deal with some deferred maintenance that we had put off for a while and needed to address. And a lot of it was just painting, and it's kind of restriping and resealing our parking lot. Some things that they can kind of look nice instantly, but they also provide a lot of protection, a lot of value. And so we really see that as a reinvestment in our property. And the way that we're able to do that is through setting aside some of our rental income, 15% actually, for these kind of projects and for investing into the future of what we might need for this facility itself. The next category is ministry, and I just would like to highlight a couple things here. One is that there's 16 salvations, and only 2 of those actually came from the English congregation. Another 2 came from a jail ministry that Pastor David leads, but the other 12 actually came from the Mandarin congregation. They came from people that Pastor David, our Chinese pastor, has been getting to know and meeting in the community, and our members have been inviting and bringing and connecting with and building relationship with. And so it's a great thing that David's been able to help work with those people. And again, those 7 baptisms are also all from Chinese congregation, from some of those 12 that the Mandarin congregation has helped to know Jesus and helped to follow him. The next category is just kind of our Sunday statistics, and you'll see some of the numbers there. We really are trying to wrestle through what does it look like in our community to be reaching into the community, because a lot of people are leaving our community because it is just so expensive to live here. And so we're seeing families leave as they start to have kids. We're seeing other people leave as they just can't afford to live here anymore. We're seeing an older generation who doesn't want to retire here. And so we're trying to kind of struggle with and wrestle with, even though we still saw some growth or we saw some steady numbers from the Chinese congregation, what does it look like to move into the future and to minister in this community? What does that look like? We have also been trying to track and record our follow-up of unchurched people. We have quite a few unchurched people that have come through this last year, and we've kind of revamped that, so we're working on improving how we reach out to those people and follow up with them as well. The next category is about our next generation, and we don't say next generation in the sense of they'll be important someday. We say that they're important now, and we're trying to prepare them for the leadership and the roles that they will have in the future. And so we have seen some growth with our kids ministry, some small growth, and with our student ministry as well, and with our college ministry. Pastor Sam has helped lead our college ministry to the community college campuses, also San Jose State and some other schools in our area, and have seen some nice growth of helping people that don't know Jesus or that haven't followed him or haven't even heard of him before, and helping them to hear who he is. And so that's been a great addition to this last year. The next category is just some random statistics about our church. One of the things we did this last summer was we provided summer block parties. We thought the summer was a little bit of a downtime where some of our groups, our life groups, which we think are very important, kind of take a break for the summer as people travel and various things. And so we had these summer block parties that we thought were going to be more community focused on our own church. But they really turned out to be great outreach opportunities to just have fun and to have a bounce house and to have we have a nice grill and a patio courtyard area. And they became great opportunities actually to reach into our community as well. And so those were some kind of cool things that we did this last year. And also along with that, new volunteers. We had 15 new volunteers this year. Pastor David, our Chinese pastor, along with his wife, have really helped us to kind of share the burden of our kids ministry, share the responsibility of our kids ministry, that it's not just the English congregation that's providing volunteers, but the Chinese congregation is actually helping as well. And it really makes this multi-congregational system become more efficient and more healthy along the way. And so we've added some new volunteers for the Chinese congregation for the kids ministry. And then for the English congregation, we've really made our guest team, our welcome team, and the greeting team a little bit stronger with a lot more volunteers on that as well. So the next category is our operations, and a big thing for the operations is our online presence. We've seen some big growth in that with new unique people visiting our website, but also with our podcast. Our sermons are uploaded onto our website and given out through iTunes and through different podcast sites. And we saw a huge growth over year from 71 people that would on average would subscribe a month to over almost 400 people subscribing on a monthly basis. And we saw some months of almost 600 people listening to our podcast. So we're trying to figure out, what do we do with that? How do we connect with these people that obviously are not coming on Sundays, because we don't have that many people on Sunday, but they're connecting with us through online. And so we're trying to figure out, how do we do that a little bit better? And along the way, we're also kind of updating some systems. We're kind of trying to make sure that we're being wise stewards of what we have. And so our kids check-in system, making sure we're safe and secure with the kids that come our way. Also kind of improving our child safety policy and just some other policy things to help keep us in good standing. The next category is our finances, and we had a great year with our finances. We saw some growth in the English congregation. We saw a little bit of growth in the Chinese congregation as far as giving as well. And our viability discussion that we had kind of at the beginning, one of the goals was to become more viable. And what we define that as is basically to be able to cover your own costs. So each congregation would be able to cover their own direct costs. Staff, ministry expenses, that kind of thing, and their district budgets and Nazarene budgets. And so this year, actually, both congregations have been able to meet their goal. And with the English congregation having such a big jump in tithe, we were actually able to meet our 5-year goal in only year number 2. And so that was a great thing. And so we're starting to work towards becoming a little bit more healthy, but also becoming less dependent on our rental income that we have. The next category is our outreach, and we do several different events throughout the year, but one of the biggest ones we do is an egg hunt, and an Easter egg hunt. And last year, our egg hunt got so big, we weren't even quite ready for it. We had over 500 people on our campus. We had about 122 kids on our campus, which is a huge number for us. And we filled up every one of our parking spots. I think we have 129 parking spots. We filled all those up. We also filled up some of the next door churches' parking as well, and onto the street. And we just had a great egg hunt last year. And the great thing about the egg hunt is it's very simple. It's not very complex. There's not a lot of things happening. And so our people are really able to interact with the community and the families that are here and that come on our campus. And so we're really grateful for that. And we had some great connections. And some families have come because of the egg hunt. So we're very thankful for that. Another part of our strategy is really to support this Nazarene family that we're a part of, and the missions and the opportunities that are out there in the communities that we have Nazarene churches in. And so we've given away a good portion of our money towards that as well. And we feel like that's a good investment of our resources as well. The last category is our staff. And we did a few different things. One is we did all kind of our normal performance reviews, but we also hired another staff member this year, and her name is Heidi, and hopefully you'll get to meet her at District Assembly. She's our creative arts pastor, and she creates a great balance for me, being a little bit more thoughtful and spiritually deep, and helping our church to be also creative in their spirituality as well. And so she does a great job with that. We also, though, this was my year to be reviewed, and my first time being reviewed in the church pastor review. And luckily, I also had Albert. It was his first review as well as a DS. So that went really well, actually. Our church board had kind of set up a good process to start with, and we kind of continued through with that with Albert, and we really moved through the process very easily and very smoothly. And we had some good results come out of that as well. One last thing I would say for those of you who are in multi-congregational churches, there are 2 books that I would recommend. One that we read as a staff together, both of them actually we read as a staff together. The first one is called Deep and Wide, and it's kind of about figuring out who is the church really for, and then kind of figuring out how are you going to reach those that are not currently a part of your church. And then the second book is actually a great book for anybody that has a multicultural church or congregation in their church as well. Basically, this book took 8 different principles of leadership or relationship and figured out where do different cultures fall on these scales of how they view these items. And it was a great book for our staff to talk through and figure out, well, you grew up in one culture, you kind of adapted to this culture, and then I'm a part of, I grew up in a different geographic region of this country, and just figuring out how do we see things differently. And then you throw in personality, obviously, on top of that. But those are 2 books that I would highly recommend this last year that we read as a staff. So I'm very, very thankful to share this report with you, and I look forward to spending time with you at District Assembly in a few weeks.